What's up, everyone? It's Russo. I hope everyone is doing well. Please subscribe here and please follow me on Instagram at RussoLifts. In case something happens to this channel, you can follow, message me, interact with me directly, and there's daily content on there. Hope to see you guys on Instagram. What's up, everyone? It's Russo. I hope everyone is doing well. Thought I'd do just kind of a personal video, story time video type deal. Just filled up this thirsty ass Hemi with some gas, and I'm on my way back to my parents' house. And since I'm going back to my parents' house, I wanted to talk about this person just went through the fucking exit. Anyways, I wanted to talk about, since I'm going back to my parents' house, living with my parents right now currently, I just want to talk about the reaction, my family's reaction to, you know, what I do online, how I was the poster boy of EA back in the day, just what that was like personally going through that, deciding at that age that I was going to go down that road, because I think the only person who tried a character like that besides me was Boston Lloyd. Maybe Eric Kanevsky. I can't really think of anyone who at that age was like, I'm gonna be real open, honest about everything I take in bodybuilding. I think it was Boston Lloyd, and Boston Lloyd personally, in my opinion, had it easy because he came from a bodybuilding family, right? I don't come from a bodybuilding family. My dad was a long distance runner. He's nothing to do with, he doesn't even know anything about bodybuilding whatsoever. He has no interest in bodybuilding. He couldn't name one Mr. Olympia besides maybe Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't even think he knows who the fuck Ronnie Coleman is. So Boston had it easy. I did not. So back in the days of when I was deciding whether or not I was going to even make that original SARM content. So for those who never watched any of my original videos, basically my whole original channel was about just tracking my progress to make sure I was making progress, because I'll throw up some video clips of my original videos. I was super small. I was a long distance runner. You know, my dad was a long distance running coach. I had really, really good information education on how to become a D1 distance runner. And at that time, I was on pace to become a Division 1 distance runner. I literally would run 12 miles a day, like run twice a day, total of 12 miles a day. My 8th grade year, 9th grade year, I was so fixated on becoming an amazing runner. But I was also a wrestler in the winter. And I had a freak wrestling accident where I cut all this weight. I was so weak and fatigued because my coaches, they made me cut weight. I cut weight for this match, and I got my shoulder ripped out, and I got pinned with my shoulder ripped out, and my shoulder was like sitting down here, and my shoulder was never the same after that. I went through rehabilitation. It never fixed the shoulder completely. So when I went back to running, it would shuck. Like my shoulder would shuck in the socket because the muscles were not tightened and completely recovered. So that's what got me into lifting originally, and then I caught the lifting bug, and then I wanted to bodybuild because I saw, you know, socially, I feel like I have the intelligence, but like people, especially when you're younger, you know how people just like, cause they're big, you know, they're different, like they're respected better. You know, I was caught up in the, oh, like the football players are so big, like they're so respected. Whereas, like, I was a wrestler, I could fucking maul a football player on the mat 1v1, but, like, socially, like, the bigger guys, you know, it's a social advantage to be bigger. So that's why I caught the lifting bug. And, like, I couldn't even go back to running, honestly. Like, it still hurts to this day. So that's what got me caught into lifting. So I trained naturally for my entire high school career. I was natural. There were kids using steroids in my high school. All of them would fucking lie to me, okay? Every one of them. I'd be like, because I was super fixated. I was kind of blind, dumb back then. You know, I would lift all the time. I would eat so much food. My metabolism was so fast. My genetics were so bad when it came to putting on weight. I was one of those kids that you'd be like, oh, he'll never put on weight. He'll never get big. It was one of those scenarios. Sorry, there's a lot of traffic. It was one of those scenarios to where, no one thought I was getting big. I trained naturally till I hit about, I think I bulked up to 205, and then I would cut back down to 180, and I think I bulked up again to 210, and then that cut, I kind of just cut back down, and it just felt like I was losing all my strength on these cuts. Like, I didn't have the understanding of when you're natural, after you build your initial noob gains of muscle, which I was about finished around high school, in my opinion, for my genetics. In my opinion, the biggest I ever think I could get naturally, if I trained perfect with zero fucking injuries, like for a decade straight, would be like 205 lean, 200 lean, 195 lean, somewhere around that range. I don't think I could get any bigger than that. Like, that's big for a natty 5'11", which is my height at the time. I'm like 5'11 and a half now. But, I was like 185 lean. Like, I didn't really have that much actual lean body mass, in my opinion, on the table to gain. I just would build up my compound strength, and then my muscles would mature, densify, and I would eventually look bigger and fill out. But as far as actual body mass, like lean body mass, I was at that point in my natural bodybuilding career where, like, you kind of just, like, trickle away. You gain, like, a little bit of lean mass, every year. So my one friend was looking into Sarms, and they caught my interest because I was caught up in all the fake marketing bullshit back in the day on how Sarms had no side effects, how Sarms didn't really suppress testosterone. I mean, if you guys follow my channel, I don't preach any of that bullshit. And I'm sure the people, some OGs following my channel know some of the people who were preaching that bullshit to sell them. But I got caught up into that. So I was documenting all my progress on YouTube. I was watching these guys like David Lade, Brandon Harding, claiming natural. In my fucking opinion, they were either using gear or Sarms. Especially with Sarms, you can get away with looking quote-unquote half natty because it doesn't cause an extreme amount of nitrogen retention, but you can gain significant amounts of strength. If you go back, I might throw it back up on the YouTube channel. I just have to fix it so YouTube doesn't delete it. But in my original RAD 140 video, where I never took fucking steroids before, I only utilized RAD 140, one of my original cycles, my flat bench went from like struggling with 225 to banging 275 like it was fucking nothing. And that was with zero strength programming, zero education on training, other than I would just pyramid train, meaning I would work my way up on the pyramid, I would work my way back down, get my volume as well as test my compounds. I wasn't really training for strength at all. I wasn't building up to a big, max out. I just gained that from the androgen, okay? But I didn't really look like crazily unnatural. Like, I had none of that unnatural look I have today from the nitrogen retention of the gear, as well as, the androgen receptor buildup I have now. But in my opinion, David Lade, Brandon Harding, I was watching these guys gain all this clout, tons of clout. They're claiming natty. In my opinion, I didn't think they were natty. And Brandon Harding eventually, he switched teams. He became unnatural after he basically was like, yeah, I don't look nearly fucking natty anymore. I can't possibly claim natty. So it's probably a better clout move if I switch to being unnatural and playing that card, even though I played natty card the whole way up to my clout buildup. I wanted to keep it real. I didn't know if I had potential. I just wanted to go for it back at the time. I wanted to keep it real. So I decided to document my first Sarms cycle and just put it out there on YouTube because I hated looking up information in the bodybuilding forums. It's full of people who are idiots. It's full of people who think they know shit and they never post pictures of themselves. You have no idea whose advice you are taking, what they look like, or where they are getting any of their information from. At least when you put it out, you know who's talking. So even though my 18-year-old ass, who obviously doesn't know everything, was putting it out, people were gonna come to my videos and educate me. And that's exactly what happened. I got messages from pharmacists around the world, from doctors around the world, high-level bodybuilding coaches, other very experienced PED guys. A lot of experienced PED guys, man, they don't want to be public. They don't want to be in the limelight. They want to be hidden. They don't want to be asked 1,000 fucking questions. They only want to communicate with other PED people for their personal gain. They don't want to hand out free cookies. And I get that. You know, with the Instagram DM box, I get that. People are always hunting for free coaching. I get why people start to eventually shut the fuck up and just work on themselves. But in my opinion, education is king. Even though, like how ESPN tried to make me out as the SARM abuser who was like shilling and everything, I still talked a lot of people out of SARMs. I talked about the hormonal suppression. I talked about all the side effects I was experiencing. I just kept it completely unbiased. So when I started that and it caught attention, you know, Tony from Enhanced Athlete reached out to me and invited me to Cali to do videos and content with him and support me and sponsor me. And that was a big opportunity. That's a big opportunity for anyone that age, and for my content to be recognized, because, you know, it's not easy starting out on YouTube from scratch. As anyone who's built a YouTube channel, I've built fucking 3 or 4 YouTube channels now. It's really not easy to gain traction. It's extremely hard. So that was an amazing opportunity. And, you know, I appreciate Tony for giving me that opportunity. But tying it in with my parents were not thrilled at all. They did not want me to go. At first they thought I was going to get raped by Tony, and I'm like, no, it's a legitimate company, blah, 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 blah. And so tying this all in with my parents, because I wanted to give, you know, my opinion. I did not have like this horrible, evil, sadistic mindset going into this. I really just wanted to be the most transparent bodybuilder of all time, starting from the very start when no one even thought I would even get to the level I'm at today. I just wanted to be, I didn't really care if I made it or not. I just always wanted to be real. I didn't want to bullshit anyone. I was bullshitted in high school my whole life. I was a 3-sport athlete, and no one could be real with me and just say, hey, I'm popping some pro hormones. Hey, I'm popping D-ball. That's why I passed you up. Now, everyone was a fake natty, and I hate fake natties. So when I started making those videos, after my sponsorship with EA, my parents started coming at me asking what SARMs were. And honestly, they really didn't care until the S23 cycle, when I said I was utilizing steroids along with SARMs. That's how much negative weight steroids hold. Just the name steroids. SARMs, oh, that's different. They're all synthetic androgens, guys. All synthetic androgens. But steroids. So they came at me, they're like, we don't want this going on in your house. And, you know, they didn't really support the idea I had. They didn't really get the vision I had, which is fine. You know, I was watching the fitness industry. I grew up watching the fitness industry, and I always wanted to be a part of it. Fitness is my insane passion. It's how I regulate my stress. If I didn't have exercise, I would be some insane, stressed out, bipolar maniac, probably drinking at a bar right now. Instead, I'm completely calm, chill every day, because I have an outlet to release all this stress, and it's a good outlet. It's not wasting my time. A lot of people think going in the gym is a waste of time. No, it's not. It's building character, releasing stress, and building a strong work ethic that you can put into other things such as businesses, which people don't get. Anyways, so my parents weren't about that. They didn't like that I was using steroids. They didn't support me as a bodybuilder or anything like that. You know, I obviously had conversations with them. They really never supported me. I really do appreciate my uncle. My uncle always supported me and got what I was trying to do, but not my parents. So I eventually moved out still in college at the time. And then when I dropped out of college the first time to pursue my passion, that's where they really came at me, because it's a risk. When you do something like this, it's a risk. You know, people in corporate aren't going to see the same angle I see. Trust me. I had to deal with ESPN, with corporate media. They're going to see it however the current society sees it. So I can see why my parents were against it. I don't really blame them, but I just wish they would get the bigger picture I'm trying to do here. What I'm trying to do for everyone is, I'm tired. I would much rather see people have real information about what goes on in the fitness industry than just not, you know, just buy fake bullshit sawdust supplements, get no results, get scammed out of their money thinking they're going to get results, when in reality I'm giving education on both the good and bad about what is really utilized in the fitness industry. And if they get side effects, at least they know they had the education, at least they know they're not getting completely scammed out of bullshit sawdust products. That's how the fitness industry was way back when I first started, was just like a massive juiced up dude like giving out mass gainer, and it's just like, what the like, I don't get that. Nowadays with the internet, with how steroids have become even more prevalent in today's society, steroids being the number one scheduled drug in the United States that utilized, believe it or not, which there's very few actual real education on it, which is insane. But yeah, that's what my goal was. So I decided to drop out of college, pursue my passion of becoming this influencer and providing information, doing educational content. Eventually I really wanted to do actual scientific educational content with people with PhDs. I really wanted to give their work highlights, give their work a spotlight, because I don't know if you know how pharma works, but it's all based on money. It's not based on discovery. It's not based on findings. It's based on money. That is what gets pushed forward. That's what's get pushed through. People are insane biochem guys. They're creating cures. They're creating things that can help with day-to-day society that'll never see the light of day. And you see it with these research camps. It never sees the light of day, even though it's amazing. You know, my end-term goal was to be able to have a platform where I could provide that extreme level of scientific data, as well as document my entire bodybuilding career. You know, if I was able to compete, which I'm trying to compete in classic physique. If not, I was planning to get into coaching and work with someone with better genetics and educate them and kind of use them to show exactly how bodybuilding works. But I personally want to try it first and see how it goes with me. But they weren't about that. So the whole thing is, like, I get this a lot. It resonates with people a lot, is, oh, you know, my parents, they don't support, you know, me trying to be a bodybuilder. Don't get mad at them. It's not their issue. You know, you can live your life after you become an adult and live on your own. I'll say that. Once I moved out, they never came after me. But I do understand, and it resonates with me when people say, you know, their close family is not around what they're doing, whether it be any entrepreneurial idea. And I resonate with that. But that is going to harden you as an entrepreneur to actually chase that goal and to actually go after it. It's not gonna, like, you should be almost glad that they don't support it, because then that will make you want it more. That will harden you more, because as you go down the entrepreneurial road, you will find it much more difficult obstacles that you have to face. And by only believing in yourself in the beginning, you'll be surprised how much it helps later in the journey than it does originally. But personally, you know, my parents didn't support it. You know, going to their house right now, they don't really say much about it. They're not really interested in anything I'm doing as far as content wise, but they get what I'm doing, and they get that, you know, I've made something out of it. But they're not going to support you until you make something out of it. So my opinion for all the young ones out there is, first off, if you don't like fucking bodybuilding to die for, to have health problems for, potential health problems, taking all those associated risks that I talk about, then don't go enhanced. If you don't plan on making money off your enhanced body, then why the fuck are you enhancing yourself? If you're only enhancing yourself to get women, you don't need to fucking do that. I got so many girls around me when I was a 140-pound distance runner. Now I don't even have time to really have girls, and I had a long-term relationship. But you don't need muscle mass to get women. Sure, it helps, but you really just need to be smooth with talking and funny and have a decent-looking face, which maybe some people can't fix that. But I mean, my bloat lord face does perfectly fine. It's pretty fucking ugly, so if you're uglier than my bloat lord face, then God help you. But yeah, you don't need that. If you're trying to go D1, I get it. I get a lot of those messages as well. Yeah, just know that life's a competition, and that all the people who claim natty their whole life, some of them aren't. A lot of these D1 athletes, I get D2 athletes, D1 athletes, MMA fighters, everyone's on shit. I'm the only one who just in the limelight admitting it and documenting my side effects. But for real, if you're not gonna make something out of being enhanced, don't be enhanced. If you don't love being a fucking gym cell like I was, I just built myself in the gym, studied computer science, and did YouTube. I had no real time and maintained my relationship with my girlfriend. I had no time besides that. So if you're planning on having a social life, if you're planning on partying, if you're planning on doing that stuff, I have nothing against that. I just personally wouldn't really go through all the risk of running enhancements and then mixing all that with enhancements. And at that age, you're going to have to make that decision if you want to have those memories, if you want to have that social life, build that social circle that way, then I wouldn't mess with enhancement. And it's not like you can really walk away from enhancement. That's why I tell people to, do a solo run of Sarms, see if you like enhancement. Don't jump straight to the gear, because once you're in the gear, it's very hard to get away from it. I'm just going to say it like it is. It's very hard. That's why I'm going to do solo run Sarms. I don't know if I'm going to go down this road all the way. And then when all these opportunities were around me to continue going down that path, and my dream was there to chase even farther, I went down that road farther. But when you first watch my original channel, I was only doing Sarms only for a reason, right? I didn't know, especially at that time, if I wanted to walk all the way down that road. I eventually did, but don't jump into it super quick. Less is more. Controlled, linear progress is the best. Blasting gear, getting a massive amount of progress, and then PCT coming off and rocking yourself like this is the worst. Tiny mild cycles, linear progress is the best, and obviously building a natural base as well. But you can only get so big naturally, in my opinion, unless you have insane genetics, which, hate to break it to you, very few people have insane genetics. So yeah, that's my advice to how I got started and how I dealt with that. Hope to see you guys in my next